Returning to the starter for my 57 Studebaker Golden Hawk. The holes that were in this from Delco-Remy, probably, they were oversized compared to the holes in the bell housing. Everybody said that it's a special bolt. It should be 2¼ inches long, and with a shoulder that was actually able to accommodate, the thickness of this probably and the boss that's on the bell housing. I found by crawling up underneath there that the 7/16 bolt was actually pretty snug inside the holes on the casting of the bell housing, but on the starter, made by Delco-Remy, they were sloppy. So that led me to taking some flashing material. This is real thin aluminum, I forget what gauge, that I had, and I cut a ribbon about 1/4 inch, just a little bit similar to the thickness of this flange that's on the starter, and about 3/4 inch long, and then I rolled it around a smaller diameter bolt. Then I inserted it into the ends here. So now this bolt will fit through here, draw it in. This is not the bolt that I'm going to be using, but it'll actually go inside. It's not forcing it through or anything, but this will actually pick up that the difference, shim it out if you will. But what I did was I went to a hardware store, and you can see the length of this shoulder, if you want to call it that, is slightly longer than the one that I took out of the Studebaker, which is incorrect, and this one was also incorrect. These were the two that were in the starter. Shoulder's a little bit longer, so it should accommodate the boss, as well as the thickness of this and the washer before I put a lock washer on. I am going to put the head on the inside, at least at this point, the inside of the bell housing, so that the nut is going to be on the outside of this flange. Stay tuned. But again, these are bolts. This is a 7/16 by 2.5 grade 8 bolt. I paid $1.99 for these. I cut it off actually just a little bit longer than 2¼ inch. Not really sure whether this video is going to show upside down or right side up or whatever. I'm underneath the car. And of course, it's pretty close. I'm only about 6 inches, 8 inches away, so I'm not sure if you see this or not. But that is the 2.5 inch grade 8 bolt that I cut down. And you can see, if you can see, the threads that are sticking out of this after this side. This is a bracket that is actually used for supporting the exhaust pipe. But I've got a lock washer on here. I used the original nut that was on here. But on that side where the boss is, I went to Harbor Freight and bought a kit of copper washers so that I could put one on the oil pan, and also used one, I believe, on the transmission pan. But I decided to put that before the bolt head hit the boss. Instead, there was enough meat left over. So anyway, this is a better shot, and following up on the install of the starter in the 57 Golden Hawk by using a 2 5/8 grade 8 bolt that, 2.5 inch long, 7/16 20 grade 8 bolt that I bought from Ace Hardware store, not Lowe's, not some specialty place, or from a Studebaker vendor. If I was at a Studebaker meet, I probably would have looked for this and paid for that, to support a member. But anyway, this is finishing up this, and on to, I just secured the transmission pan with a filter I got from Studebaker International and a gasket, but I'm going to go back to my brake master cylinder, a different story.